So I want to welcome all the guests, all the drivers that are on the line today. I'm going to be sharing some things with you about our concept of Vibe Rides, who we are, what we do, and really how you all can get a piece of the pie and take advantage of this new concept that we are emerging into as far as ride share and drive share is concerned. So Scott's giving you my accolades, giving you my background. There's no need for me to do that right now. But I certainly want to dive right in because I believe that I don't need to be eternal, but I certainly want to be effective and be respectful of everybody's time here on this event here today. So I'm going to go right into some slides here. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share with you here a few things as we get started here. I want to let you know that, these are concepts, that we actually are talking about here today. I'm going to talk a little bit about how people have the opportunity to make money, but I'm not going to give you any sort of guarantees as far as income claims is concerned. You can take a snapshot of this. I will share with you that if you become a Vibe driver here, you certainly will put yourself in another bracket of success, so to speak, if you put in the effort and the time to do so. So when you look here, what's been happening around the world, ladies and gentlemen, times have changed. Of course, many people are starting to recognize that every couple of years, every 8 to 10 years or so, things, change a lot in society. But at the same time, people's incomes may not necessarily change. Those are the last things that we see that are evolving, which is why we put together a concept here like Vibe Rides. And if you look right now, what's happening right before our eyes, the average person right now in the corporate sector, which is where I came from as a medical sales rep in a medical company, Fortune 500 company, that company was not paying me very well. I mean, they paid me decently to make a living, but then I put in just enough work so I didn't get fired. So it was just a game of who's playing who. And I kind of figured that out after about 4 years of being involved in that company. And then I started to look at how can I get into the opportunity to make additional income or additional income streams on top of what I was bringing in from my job. And therefore, I, found an avenue there. I latched onto it. And just like Scott has mentioned, it's been 25 years later. It's just been a blessing to be a part of this. But what I also noticed in that period of time, those 4 years that I've been there, plus the 25 years that I've been doing this, I started to notice the change in the corporate world. I started to notice that what happens today, you're going to have about 5 times that you'll see, people are, changing their careers. And every time they change their careers, they go through 5 career changes, but every time they change their careers, there's a reset button. They have to start all the way back over. They have to start at the bottom. And that's kind of frustrating for some people because they have hopes to get to certain levels of income and certain levels of success. But guess what? Every time it's like 8 to 10 years, somebody's changing careers. So here it is. When you look at it, you see what's the reason why is because, people are undervalued now in the corporate sectors. Some people are overworked, kind of like I was. I was working 8 to faint. So I was overworked, and even I was underpaid, which made me start looking at other avenues to try to create additional income streams. And then unfortunately, as you continue to change careers every 8 to 10 years or whenever it is, you're getting older. And as you continue to get older, sometimes now you're seeing people are aged out of the corporate arena now. Okay, they're aged. Now they make too much money or they're too old to actually get paid that type of money. So now they're X'd out. So, and that's not right, which is why we actually have put together this concept, because now we realize that more and more people in today's society are moving over to what we call is the gig economy. Now the gig economy has changed. I'm from Chicago, Illinois originally. We had to go out and make it happen, in our lives, earlier on, and we called it just understanding how to hustle. Well, that's not the word that's used today. The word that's used today is the gig economy. Why? Because that has changed. When you look at the gig economy, going out to make additional streams of income now, you're seeing that is called working smarter, and now you can get more done. Okay, you now control the freedom and the flexibilities of your life and even your income. Now you get to set that. But the reason why they're calling it the gig economy, folks, is because now, back in the days when I was wholesaling, retailing, whatever it was that I was trying to market, that, I didn't have technology on my side because technology really didn't exist. Now, because of today, the way the economy is and because of what the world is looking at, Because of the technology, now everything is based on apps. And because everything is based on apps now, you can create a new stream of income. You can create bigger sources of opportunities now. This is why it's called the gig economy. And as you can see, people in corporate America, as I said before, that were overworked and underpaid and aged out and undervalued, they're starting to say, wait a minute, I need to do something on the side as opposed to just trying to rely on just my corporate income coming in. So when you look at this, why do most people never ever get ahead in the money curve? Well, it's because of something that I learned 20 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. If you've never heard of him, he's a best-selling author as well. In fact, he's a financial guru of sorts, and he created a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, another one called Cash Flow Quadrant, and another one called Prophecy. And he also created this game called Cash Flow. And it all talks about how to get out of the rat race. See, right now, when you look at what's happening in society, it's time for you to control your own income. Nobody ever foresaw this coming up, such as the pandemic and such as the global downturn. And he's been talking about this for 20 years. Control your life as opposed to letting someone else control your life. And what he meant by that is there's 4 types of people that are working in our society today. One of them is the employee, and this is a person that has a job, okay? The second one is the S quadrant, somebody that's a self-employed person. This is somebody that actually owns a job because they have to be there to turn the lights on and to turn the lights off, and they really can't take vacations because they don't really know if they can really trust that they can walk away from their business for a week or 2 weeks at a time and trust that their employees, don't take, their business from them or steal from them or whatever. So you have to always be there. So now you really own a job if you're self-employed. And some of you self-employed individuals probably can relate to what I'm talking about here today. But he says on the other side of the quadrant, which is the right side of the quadrant, what I call our right side thinkers, these are people that are business owners. And business owners, folks, they own a system. And when you look at the word system, what that really means is it save yourself time, energy, and money. Matter of fact, just think about that. If you can save yourself time, energy, and money, do you think that would be more beneficial to you and your family right now and have income spitting off every time, whether you worked or not? See, that's called being on the right side as a business owner. And then he talks about the I quadrant. That's being an investor. This is where your money now, you can put on, you put your money on overalls and you send it out and you make it go work for you and it comes back, guess what, with more of it. So this is where money really starts to work for you. And see, these people, ladies and gentlemen, when you really think about it, those that are on the left side of the quadrant, that comprises about 3% of the population. But guess what? They put in 97% of all the work. On the flip side of that, the ones on the right side, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? They actually own 90% of the wealth and they only really work 3% of the time. So you have to ask yourself the question, which side of the quadrant do you want to be on? If you're trying to become more successful and things of that nature, where do you want to be at? Well, most people say I want to be on the right side, but let's look at this in detail. Okay, why is it really the time for you to control your life? Well, because on the left side, ladies and gentlemen, you're considered to be, whether you're an employee or a self-employed person, guess what? That's called your active efforts. What does that really mean? That means you trade dollars for hours and hours for dollars. And there's nothing wrong with that because I started there working for a medical company 25 years ago. And what the reality behind it is one day you're going to run out of hours. And when you run out of hours, you run out of dollars. Take a look at what's happening right now. There's several people that are employees that have been laid off. We're facing right now over 30 million plus people that have been displaced or laid off from their jobs right now who have already filed for unemployment. And that number is going to increase to about 30% of our working population. So when you look at that, is that where you want to stay at? Probably not. Maybe you might want to enhance it or supplement it, right? So then let's take a look at the next quadrant. What about being a self-employed person? Well, some of those people, those self-employed, those small business owners, they've had to close their doors because they just did not have enough cash flow to continue to pay their employees, right? So here it is. Do you really want to stay in that side, on that side of the money curve? Well, most people are saying, no, I've got my wake-up call now. I need to do something different, which is why we're hosting this webinar here today. So let's talk about the other side. It's more passive efforts. And why is it passive? Well, because now You're using a concept that wealthy people always use, and it's called leveraged income. Leveraged income. So this is where you make money using the efforts and times, and ideas of other folks. So here, when you look at this, if we break it down, most people, like I said earlier, who are in the employee market, these are the ones that your boss controls you. They control your time. They tell you when you have to come in. They tell you when you have to leave. They tell you if you need to pick up overtime. They also tell you when you can only take off for vacations. And they control your income. They tell you exactly how much you're worth or how much you're not worth. But guess what? You have to do that because you've been trying to pay the bills. Well, the self-employed or the small business owners, well, as I said earlier, this is where now you own that business or you own that job. And the reason why is because now your customers control you, okay? They control your time. They control your money. You take a look at right now why small business restaurants have had to, shut their doors is because, of course, of the economy. But now, guess what? Those customers now, they don't have those customers now, and they're trying to find a way to get them back. They're trying to open back up because the customers are controlling their time and their money, and they need that right now because that's all they really know. See, we know the secret. The secret is getting on the other side. The secret is getting to the part where we can move you from an E and S over to a B, where now you become your own business owner and you get to control your time and control your money, okay? So that's where you really want to be at. Now, the second part of that, again, is as an investor, I already told you that's where the money works for you. So how do you get to the B quadrant? This is the magical question. Well, here as it is, many of you all are already driving for some other company right now. So here it is. You can continue to do what it is that you're doing. Now you can do it with Vibe Rides because of our concept. Our concept is just different, okay? You won't have a boss. Doesn't matter if you don't have a degree or not. And guess what? We don't necessarily, need any experience. We can show a new person how to do exactly what we're doing, okay? And here it is. We have an opportunity now where other people now will be able to work for you because you can start your own fleet, so to speak. So Vibe Rides actually gains you leverage. I got to repeat that. Vibe Rides gains you leverage. Why do you want leverage? Well, as I said earlier, because why? This is what wealthy people do. Successful and wealthy people use a concept called leveraged income to gain more time and to gain more money. So let's talk about the drive share industry, okay? The timing could not be better in our economy right now for this. Why do I say that? Well, if you look around the entire world, you're talking about almost 100 million customers that are actually in this industry, okay? And these customers, on average, are using some type of concept here of a rideshare company at least 1 to 4 times every single month. So when you look at the numbers, it is actually huge, the type of incomes that can be made from the customer base. Now, this customer base is only going to keep growing, okay? It's going to keep growing. It's never going to go backwards. It's going to keep growing. And here's why. Because people are looking for a way to save, and they're looking for convenience. What does rideshare, drive share do for a person? It helps them save money, and it gives them convenience of picking them up right there at their location and dropping them off right where they need to be dropped off at. That's called convenience, okay? Well, let's look at this. As far as drivers are concerned, this is 5.3 million drivers around the entire world because people now are looking for that side gig. Now you're seeing that this number is actually growing. Now you have professionals, doctors. You have, people that haven't even gone to school. Guess what? There's no qualifications. There's no degrees needed. There's no experience needed. You can just decide that you want to become a driver, go through the proper requirements, and now guess what? You can start driving whenever you want to drive. You set the time. You set, the parameters, okay? So here it is. Now you're seeing more people in the corporate world, or so to speak, that are saying, you know what? I like the flexibility of this. I can turn this on, turn this off, still go handle my business or still go handle my job, but at least start to make some additional income. And guess what? We've seen some of those people now start to make more income than they have using their traditional source of income. So when you look at this, we said, okay, in our company, We just don't want to be a rideshare company. Okay. We want to give back to the rideshare industry. Okay. We want to provide a mobile solution to what's happening around the world right now. So Vibe is moving in that very fast. We just started this April the 1st, and we're growing. Right now, we're in 6 different cities. We're about to open up some different cities now as well. So here it is. We're moving. This Vibe concept is absolutely exploding. So when you look at that, why are we a mobile solutions company? Well, because the other companies only allow people to get in their cars, okay? Riders in their cars. We said, let's take the game up another notch. So not only will we have riders, okay, that we can take advantage of, but we also will be able to transport and mobilize products. We also will be able to transport and mobilize services as well, whether that's for, whether that's for food, whether that's for groceries, whether that's for cleaners, whatever needs to be transported from a servicing standpoint, our drivers can do that now. Whatever products need to be moved, maybe it might be medical supplies that need to be moved, we can transport that now as our drivers. So we have taken the rideshare game and turned it into a drive share business, mobile solution oriented company. So take a look at this picture, because this is a slick car. Okay. I mean, when you look at the branding, you've got to thank Scott. You've got to thank our CEO, Mr. Holton Buggs. You got to thank, our executives like T. Gray and Mark Kicker. I mean, this concept has now made this company one of the most talked about companies right now around the world already. And we're just like really only 30 days old. But it's a sweet card. Why? Because when you look at Vibe, we're next generation. We're next generation rideshare. So when you look at that, ladies and gentlemen, there's 3 ways to vibe with us. You can ride with us, you can drive with us, and you can overdrive with us, okay? Let's break these down. Let's talk about riding. When you ride, okay, why does somebody want to ride with Vibe Rides, okay? We're just different, as I said earlier. Well, now you can go and download our app as a rider, okay, whether it's Google Play or Apple Play, and now you will be able to customize all the features that you like when you get into your own car. Now we want you to have an experience now when you get into one of our cars, okay? What do I mean by that? Well, you will have your own app that you can customize now. So when you customize this app, now your riders or a rider can now say, okay, this is the types of conversations that I want to have with that driver. I might want to talk politics. I might want to talk sports. Maybe I don't want to talk at all. So now when that rider gets in your car, you will automatically know what they want to talk about, if they want to talk about anything at all. The second thing that they'll be able to also decide before they get in your car, because it's all in their profile, now they'll get to decide what kind of temperature do they want when they get in the person's car, when they get in one of our drivers' car. Do they want it hot? Do they want it cold? Do they want it right in between? Do they want the windows down? Do they want the windows up? Do they want the heat on? You'll know all of that now, even before they even get in your car. Also, the third thing, music. What kind of music do they like to get into? I don't know how many times I've gotten into a rideshare car and, they were playing country and Western music. Nothing against country and Western music. It's just not something that I listen to, right? Sometimes I don't want to listen to any music. So now your riders will be able to already have in their profile what kind of music that they like to listen to when they get in your car, okay? What about this? Girl power. I'm going to talk about this in just a second, but here it is. They have a girl power safety feature. Now, why is it important that you have your riders already have customized profiles in their phone and in your system? Well, because if you can provide somebody what they want, you'll make more money from their tips. So now it just sets you up to make even more money outside of the money that we're going to pay you, right? You're taking an interest, an invested interest in every single one of your riders, okay? The other companies don't do that, but we at Vibe Ride said we want to create a first-class consumer experience. Let's talk about some additional safety features, because we know that's been one of the knocks in the industry of ride share. So we actually have put together what we call as a girl power feature. Now, what does this mean? Well, a girl power feature means that they can hit a female passenger can hit the girl power feature in her profile. And what that simply means is she doesn't feel comfortable late night getting in a car with a male driver. She hits that feature, and guess what? It would only send her a female driver. And guess what? The female driver can do exactly the same thing. Maybe the female driver is out driving late at night and she doesn't want a guy sitting behind her acting like Tarzan, right? Trying to hit on them. So she can hit the girl power feature. And guess what? Only have females that will get in her car during the times that she selected. So this is a great new feature that we're seeing that it really has elevated Vibe Rides to the next level. We also have safety feature alerts that will be put in there as well. We have route tracking that's going to also be in there as well, so that you can have other people can know where you actually are at in your ride share trip. And then everybody's based on a first name basis. There's no last names provided in our system. That way there's no funny business that can go on after the fact. So here it is, first name basis only. And that's really a cool feature that a lot of people like with Vibe Rides. Now, we also have some Vibe rewards. We've got some loyalty benefits, okay, which are going to be really, pretty good. We got some user benefits, okay, the more usage and things of that nature. There's some perks there that will be coming involved or coming involved with that for our riders and our drivers, okay? And then also you can have a feature in there that where you can share the Vibe with friends and family members. And also you can actually, earn some additional bonuses and, also even get paid, from the driver standpoint. You share this Vibe with other people and they become your riders, you now can get paid, okay? And then we also have some travel exclusives there. Now, these travel exclusives are really cool. I know when we started this in April, we had a Caribbean trip that we gave away to one of the top performing drivers every single week. So here it is. People had just started driving with us and they actually earned a vacation. Now, of course, everybody's, in a sort of a situation where some of the travel is restricted, but they have up to a year or two to actually use that vacation. So it's not like they're going to lose it. And they're pretty excited about them and their spouses being able to go on a free trip that we gave them. And guess what? We got more travel exclusives that are going to be coming out from the Vibe Rewards. So stay tuned for that. It's ongoing with Mr. Scott, and Miss Angela. They're the brains behind this, and they have really, put some great incentives in there, not only for our riders and things of that nature, but for our drivers as well. So once again, Vibe Rides is next generation drive share. Remember, there's 3 ways now of how you can actually earn income, okay? Number 1, you can earn income when you're driving. That means you have to be behind the car using your own efforts. You will get paid for that, okay? But here's where the game changes. This is what's unique. This is what's just different about our company. What happens here is the second way you can drive now is you can earn when other people are driving. What does that mean? Well, that means that now you have the luxury of setting up your own fleet of fleets. Okay, that means you can have other drivers that you bring aboard and refer to Vibe that now you can also earn from when they're in the car driving. And then the third way that we now can pay our drivers is you'll earn when your customers ride. What does that mean? Well, that means now you have the luxury of acquiring customers. Okay, we have a customer acquisition program here. You can acquire as many customers as you want. The average driver probably is driving somewhere between 200 and 300 rides per month. These are customers that are in your cars. So just imagine if all of them became your own personal customer, and every time they took a ride in a Vibe Ride car, you got paid whether they were in your car or somebody else's car. See, these are your customers for life. So how many customers would you want to have utilizing our platform? So when you really think about this, this could be, again, a game changer for you. So again, let's talk about the driving piece. Well, this is where you can drive for Vibe Rides on your own efforts. You'll make money on your own efforts. So it's still essentially like you being a self-employed person, okay? So we still are going to pay you in that regard. So you're going to have active income that you're going to be earning. Remember the left side of the quadrant? You're going to be earning active income. This is where you're going to earn up to 75% on the trips that you're taking now. On every one of the trips that you're taking, 75% of the distance and time charges after the first 50 rides each and every month, okay? Now this excludes, things like taxes and tolls and things of that nature, but up to 75%. First 50 rides are 70%. So somewhere between 70 and 75% is what you're going to be earning every time you're personally are driving your car for Vibe Rides. Let me give you an example of how that looks. Let's say you needed to earn an extra $5,000 per month right now driving. Well, it's very achievable to do here. Now, there's no guarantees here, but I'm just going to give you an example here so that you can see, on your own efforts, the kind of money that you can actually earn. Let's say that 5,000 breaks down to about $250 a day if you were driving 20 times in a month, 20 days in a month. Now, that simply means that you're taking about 17 trips a day, and the average trip that you actually are taking is a $15 ride. Easily achievable. Some of you all are probably smiling saying, well, that's nothing, right? But again, that's what you can earn, give or take, right? You might even be able to earn more than that, give or take. But again, these are just some bare, some pretty much easy examples for people to really understand how you can make, again, some significant income or maybe even some full-time income just from just the driving piece. But wait, there's more. See, remember the overdrive piece? Remember I said ride, drive, overdrive. Well, the overdrive, again, becomes the game changer. This is where we move you from the E quadrant and the S quadrant now over to the B quadrant. And remember, you want to make sure you understand it's the right side of the quadrant. It's the right side thinking that sets you up for a next level of income and success that you can have. So how that works is this. This is where you achieve passive income. Passive income means that now you've embraced the concept of leverage. So now you earn when others drive and you earn when others ride. You don't get that in our drive portion, okay? This is only in the overdrive part. So how this works, let's talk about the rider because you can earn from riders. So let's say you now, out of the 200, 300, 400 drives that you do per month, let's say you only have 10 riders that want to become a Vibe Ride rider, okay? Well, we have a program for our riders where our riders now can actually become our customers and refer actually five or more other riders, and then they will get a free ride. Well, when they refer those 5 other riders, guess who actually gets those riders? You do as the driver. So now guess what? You've got 50 new riders that you never even knew, whether they're in your car or not, you still have access to getting paid on them. What happens now if those 50 riders do exactly the same thing where they refer actually 5 riders apiece of their friends and family members so that they can get a free ride? Well, now guess what? Your rider network has just grown to 250 riders. And you never even met any of them. And guess what? Now, whether they're in your car or not, you're still going to get a piece of the pie. See, look at it from this standpoint. If I add all of this up, 250 plus 50 plus 10, you've got now 310 riders total. And the average amount of money that they're spending on rideshare each month is $50. Well, that's $15,500. Well, now you're going to get 3% in commissions, okay, in a rideshare commission from those 310 riders. That means that's an extra $465 per month from customers that are never even in your car. It's passive. It's passive, okay? That means that that's an additional $5,580 a year from customers that, again, you don't even know. But they are a part of your network now because your riders referred other riders who referred other riders. So I want you to imagine how big this could be for you and how quickly this could take place for you. Let's talk about the passive part for the driver, because remember I said the overdrive means that you can actually leverage your income by getting paid from riders passively and getting paid from other drivers. You can set up your own fleet of other drivers. So let's say now you start with 10 of your friends. Maybe you have 10 other drivers that you know that you are considered to be, you all are colleagues. You all are always in the hubs and things of that nature together. You always are talking. You always are communicating. And you introduce them to the concept of Vibe Rides. And they say, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that with you. Okay. Well, we know that they can make up to $50,000 a year in this example. Okay. Well, if they all were earning $50,000 a year in this example when they're driving, then that means that now that's total 50,000 times 10, that's $500,000 worth of income per year that was generated from your 10 drivers that you introduced to Vibe Rides. Well, you actually will get a drive share bonus or a 3% bonus on drive share commissions that now would equate to an additional $15,000. And here's what's so great about that. You were not even in the car when you earned it. This is passive. Now you can scale this up or scale this down. We already have people in our company, folks, that are going ballistic behind this, that already have 100 drivers, 200 drivers, 500 drivers, and they're going for more. Why? Because I just told you the industry has 5.3 million drivers who don't even know about this yet. And you could be the first one that introduces it to them right away. So when we compare the two, we know people are already driving. And guess what? There's ride share right now. Those are active drivers, meaning that they're getting paid, from their ride share companies as an employee, or they're getting paid as a self-employed person. Well, we already know the difference, okay? But when you look here on that side of the quadrant, you got companies, they pay for you to get your startup expenses, okay? We've seen that, right? They actually will give you somewhere between 70 and 75%, and they cap it at that rate, okay? Somewhere between there. And the other 25% to 30%, that goes to who? Well, that goes to those rideshare companies' shareholders, okay? And those are the ones that get to dictate how much commissions are paid back out to the drivers. I don't know if you knew that. Now, but on our side of the quadrant, remember, this is D3. I want you to embed that in your mind. This is D3 Overdrive. So now you are in the big business quadrant now. So now you actually have an opportunity to own your own customer base for life. You have your own opportunity to set up your own fleet of other drivers, and those drivers are attached to you for life, whether you do another drive or not. And then, of course, now because you're in the big business quadrant, now you have your own tax breaks. As an example, you can get up to 57 cents per mile now when you're in your car driving, okay? So those are extra tax perks that you get now from being on our side of the quadrant. And of course, you've got the same 70 to 75% on the trips charges for driving in one of our cars. But here's where the game changes. We don't have shareholders here. We own everything here. We have no debt. Vibe Rides has no debt. So we don't have to take on shareholders. So what do we do with that extra money? We take 12% of that, or up to 12% of that you can now earn through the drive share program, whether you were the one that referred the driver, whether you were the one that referred the customer, or even if you had money coming from our pools, because you can have a driver pool and a rider pool. So that comprises up to an additional 12% of earnings that can go right into your pocketbook, even when you're not even riding or driving in the car, okay? And then we have now can say that we can become a fully, profitable company, just having 18% of the revenues coming back into the company. Why? There's no overhead. We really have no overhead, so we can take minimum amounts of profits and pay it back to you as a driver and pay it back to you as an overdriver, okay? It's great what we're doing. So I say all that to say, ladies and gentlemen, that's the overview that we have here. I just encourage you to get back with whoever invited you here on the webinar and make sure that you become a Vibe Ride overdriver, okay? When you look here, how this works is this. When you do that, there's a $49.95 business registration, okay? This is a one-time registration fee if you want to become a part of the Overdrive Ambassadors Program, okay? All you have to do is go to vibeoverdrive.com, get yourself registered, okay? And then the second thing that you have to do is you just pay $200 as a one-time fee, and that is called an Overdrive pack, okay? That's an Overdrive pack. Now, what you get with the Overdrive pack, ladies and gentlemen, there is a $99.95 monthly subscription, and that's just to host your site for the application here, okay? So here it is, you will pay that, but however, if you participate in the Overdrive concept where you actually tell other drivers about this and they want to become a part of this, all you have to have is an additional 3 drivers that decide to drive with us. And now we can take that $99.95 monthly subscription fee and we can drop that down to $45.95 per month. Now, I want you to think about the type of money you're going to make. Remember, you're going to make money when you drive. You're going to make money when other people drive. And you're going to also make money when other people ride. So that $49.95 is, again, another tax expense or benefit that you get by being a part of the Overdrive program. Now, you will also have the opportunity to do a background check and also a vehicle inspection as well. I think those are really inexpensive as well, but that's how a lot of the drivers are doing it right now. And then also remember, you're going to get up to 75% on the distance and time charges after your first 50 trips each and every month, okay? So there's no limit to the amount of income that you can earn in the Overdrive program. We even are going to give you 100 boomerangs that you can give to your riders. Let's say you have someone in your car, or let's say you have a friend or a family member and you want them to become a Vibe rider. You should simply give them a free boomerang where they simply will go to our site and they will activate a code that you can give them, that 6-digit code, and they'll be your rider for life. I'm going to start you off in your package here for 100 of those links already. And of course, you can actually earn more through productions and through our promotions as well. There's no limit to the amount of riders that you can get, just like there's no limit to the amount of other drivers that you can bring on as well. You can set up your fleet. And when you set up your fleet, we even have a management system that you can track each and every day, each and every week, and each and every month to see how big your fleet is actually growing. So with that, just choose your Vibe at vibeoverdrive.com.